And we're back with another episode of the AC Milan Zone podcast. As always, my name is Stefano and I'm joined by my friend Oscar. Oscar, how are you doing?
All things considered, pretty well.
Can't complain. Before we jump into the games that we played, of course, on the weekend, and we'll play the big one coming up. Of course, we'll spend some time talking about it. Please, if you're watching this, drop a like, leave a comment what you thought about the performance against Cremonese. What are your hopes and dreams for the derby? And subscribe if you haven't already. But of course, as you see on the screen, I always point the wrong way, on the screen, the boys got it done. 89 minutes of wasted chances until Strahinja Pavlovic gives us his shoulder and gives us 3 points alongside with it. A game of domination. Actually, we created a lot of chances. This was not one of the games that we struggled because we're sort of flat, but just lack of finishing from our side. 3.64 expected goals from us, 20 shots, 7 big chances, but the boys get it done in the end. As always, quick intro, couple sentences, 90 seconds. What did you make of this game?
You just rolled off the stats here. You're right. It kind of felt when watching it live that it was almost 90 minutes of pure torture and pulling my eyes out. But if you just look at the stats, it looks like a pretty good game. And I feel like had this game taken place October, we would have felt like it was a good performance almost. But because we've sort of been lacking, we've been so lackluster the last, let's say, 5-6 games at least. Maybe with the occasional game against Hellas Verona. I feel like that was the last time I felt really convincingly, whether it's a win or a draw. Because of that, it's built up to the point where now we're looking at a game like we did against Cremonese and been like, oh, what a terrible game. We won 2-0, which was all in the last 6-7 minutes, even in extra time. But lackluster performance. When we get into the heroes, it kind of felt hard to find a hero, which goes to show how we feel about this 3 points. But it's 3 points nonetheless. Here we are. This
Yeah,
is Lakery
absolutely.
football.
It's also a trend for us sometimes to, even in victories, struggle to find our man of the match, our hero of the game, which maybe says a lot about the sort of season we've had. Overall, still positive. But as we always talk about, maybe some worrying trends, and if you try to already project into next season, which once you're in our situation in second place with a little bit of a pillow from the teams below and a rather large pillow with the team ahead, you start already thinking about next season, and these are the things you start to worry about. But let's jump straight into.
Also, we got an AC Milan zone prediction right for the first time in a very long while.
This is true. We had a
I hate
little
to I hate to
bit.
big myself up. I sound like a egoistical, but here we are.
This is true.
When are we wrong? We're never wrong.
We're never wrong. We're never wrong. Every time we're right, which is incredible. We're 100% success rate when we are right. You heard it here first. You called
That
it 2
sounds like
0.
a
Who
that
did you
sounds
have
like
the
a
scores?
Donald Trump. That sounds like a Donald Trump press conference quote from the White House. I just don't want to be political, but I was just watching him live just before this podcast. And my God, who do I have as goal scorers? I think I said Selemakers and Rabiot. No, you
Okay.
said Rabiot. I think yes,
Salamakers and
Selemakers and
Pulisic, the
maybe
worst. But I
yeah,
mean,
literally they're my two
Salamakers, I don't
culprits.
know if we count them as a defender, midfielder, or striker. It's hard to say,
Yeah,
but a
I got the
weird
goal
goal.
scorers wrong.
So,
Yeah,
no, I mean, you're not too far off, but you got it right. I think I'd said 3 0.
yeah.
So, I guess could have
She
been,
could have also been right.
yeah. But in the end, yeah, we got it right. But in order to talk about the game, let's jump straight into the zone verdict, heroes and culprits of the game. We'll start with the heroes, and I'll let you go first because our hero is shared,
Ooh,
and then but I'll mention a secondary one. So, who was your
yeah.
hero of the game?
I think you mentioned it. He's the score of the 1-0. Kind of feel like we've almost got the same haircut. We certainly don't have the same facial hair, but it is Strahinja Pavlovic. If you guys haven't checked out the AC Milan Zone Instagram page, Stefano posted a very, very good, I guess, what you call it, like a hype video, not even like a Strahinja Pavlovic
Tribute video? I don't know.
ode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because it's such a Strahinja, yeah, tribute video. It's such a Strahinja Pavlovic goal, but I think he looks pretty solid overall. And again, perhaps he stuck out from the rest purely because he scored the 1-0 bouncing off his face. Were there a lot of heroes this game? Not really. I thought lackluster performances, a lot of fives and sixes out of tens. So it's a bit like I think I gave the last game, was it? I gave Leao it because he scored, and it's very much the same here.
Hmm.
Yeah. But he looks
Yeah,
pretty solid at the back
yeah, he did
as
solid
well.
at the back. Not that Cremonese was a huge threat, even though first 5-10 minutes they were strong, and then once we started to attack him more and switch to a 4-3, they attacked a little bit more. So he had some
Yep.
moments where he needed to be good, some moments where maybe he struggled a little bit. And yeah, the goal also, he the Vinter gets a touch and then he just kind of throws his body on it, ends up hitting it with his shoulder. But ultimately,
Oh, it's
you
the
know,
shoulder, yeah.
uh, ultimately you win the game. That's the game winner in the 90th minute, but 89th. It's gonna give you. I think he won man of the match, the Panini man of the match. I believe if I remember seeing the picture, and it gives you the the hero
Because,
from AC Milan zone, which is what all the players
yeah.
in the end want to win. All the players always watch this podcast, and they're always like, "Oh my God, who is Stefano is gonna pick? Who is Oscar gonna talk about?" So
It's
Strahinja,
going to be on
shout
the
out to you.
Wikipedia page soon enough.
I'm gonna throw a little addition. I
Under,
wonder if they would take that down because it's technically not incorrect information, but maybe this is our
yeah,
new guerrilla
yeah.
marketing campaign. It's just mass editing Wikipedia until we're banned. Um, no, very good. I agree with
Yeah.
you. Obviously, he was key, but oh no, I just realized I didn't really add a picture for him. Buy me time. Talk about who do you think was your worst player,
Fofana.
and then I'll do mine.
Oh, sorry.
No, talk about your
My
culprit.
worst player. My worst player. Oh, I think it has to be Selemakers or Pulisic. Look, for Pulisic, I will give him kind of the benefit of the doubt, much like we've done with Leao when he's not performed perhaps to his best. I think he just looks so torn. We saw the memeable picture when he got subbed off, where he just kind of puts his jacket on and lies back and just closes his eyes. I'm not sure that's either out of pain or suffering. There we go, perfect. Um, it's just not how. It's also the standards we hold Pulisic, and also when we look at his first, let's say, 10 games of the season, he was carrying us, scoring left, right, and center. Now it's goalless in quite a lot of games, and he's also getting to the chances. It's not that the whole of Milan are playing terribly, so that he's not getting into goal scoring opportunities where we can say, oh, he hasn't scored. Now he is. And in the final third, I thought he lacked the touch. He gave the ball away sillily. You can't always blame the pitch. I think all the other players were standing in good positions. It's a bit of decision making. It's just being concentrated and on it in the last third. He's great dribbling. He does two, three things really well, and then the fourth one is where he falls, and he should we say benched? I'm not sure, but I think I could say the same about Salamakers. I think those two are my culprits. Salamakers hasn't been himself since that injury where he was forced. I think he would skip 2 games around about just after New Year's, and he's looking kind of frustrated. He, I shouldn't say dived around a lot this game, but it's that kind of action, where he's may perhaps trying to egg on the defenders. Great strike, but he's not. He's just really not performing anymore. He's doing silly runs where he just runs into defenders, loses the ball, gives away silly passes and fouls. Looks seemingly frustrated when he got subbed off, and he's not the Selemakers we saw before Christmas.
Yeah, agreed. I think there's a common thread maybe between the two, which is some time off. For Pulisic is maybe more frustrating because it's been very up and down. That's the story of his career and
Yeah,
definitely the story of the season. So that's tough to come back. For Salamakers, not so much, but he had the time off. So maybe it's a story for both of them of trying to play back into form. Salamakers, and it's kind of maybe the similarities actually continue because you can see they both hustle. The running is always there. The participation onto play is always there. But when things go wrong, sometimes it's hard to make him make him go right all of a sudden. I thought Salemaker, something that weighed on him was the yellow card, one yellow card away from suspension with the derby looming. So I thought that didn't help him. That being said, I don't know if I agree about, thinking to bench him. I think he's one of our key players and doesn't really have a substitute. Atakame has been a pleasant surprise when Salamakers was away, but not the player that Salamakers is.
Okay.
And when the derby is, I think you play with your men, your trusted boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
On
but I think
an off
if it
day when
goes,
we go ahead.
yeah, if he doesn't go right in the derby, I think maybe it's time to just tone it down a bit for Selemakers. For, I guess, a benching, not because he's been absolutely terrible, but he just hasn't been as good as he was before Christmas. Whether he's still nursing an injury, it doesn't necessarily look like it. You're right with the analysis of the yellow card looming over him like a dark cloud before the derby. He will be starting the derby, I'm sure of it. But
Yeah.
after that, looking long term, um, let's relax. But I guess he's gunning for that Belgium starting 11 even for the World Cup,
He's
because I
definitely
think
making the
he's,
squad. That would be strange.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Belgium recently, but I imagine, and yeah, he's key also because I mean, if there's a World Cup kind of player, is the player that can play right back, right
yeah,
wing back, right
and
wing
adapt to other players very well.
on the left. Yeah, he's, I mean, in any squad, as we said many times. So I think it's a little different from him. And also, yeah, I mean, I would start him because I think he's much better even off form than Natekame, and also because if he's playing himself into form, then giving him minutes doesn't hurt. Pulisic, again, sort of similar, but not really. I think this moment that we're showing, that was very human and understandable, where obviously the picture doesn't do it justice, but it was this for like a solid 5 seconds where he's just kind of there. I'm not sure
Yeah,
he's so frustrated. This is me reading into something. Obviously, I don't know what's going on in his mind. I don't even think he's frustrated with Allegri. I think he's just like,
no, yeah,
man, this is
overall,
tough. Man, this is tough. And this is a player that obviously has a lot of pressure. It's been struggling physically with injuries. He's got the biggest World Cup of his life coming up in his home nation, where he's widely regarded as a playing player, as the best player to ever come out of the US. When the president is saying we're going to win the World Cup, um, there's a lot going on in his mind. He, as you said, carried us for the first few months, and now he's been also your culprit
meh.
for tonight, my culprit as well, for Sunday, I should say. Yeah, missing too many chances, missing too many sitters. The press would have a field day if Leao was missing the kind of chances that he's having. That being said,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I don't worry about it. I think the only thing I worry about for the end of the season and for next season is his ability to stay healthy and actually get playing time, and continue to play his way through. That it's gonna be always a problem for him, and it's gonna continue to be a problem for him, and that's very scary. But that being said, if he plays, it's kind of like with Salamancas, I have no doubts he's gonna go back to a good level, to his level. So yeah, we'll see. It pains me because, again, I said, a very human moment for me watching Pulisic like this. But definitely, I thought the worst of the game. He lost 9 possessions, and the rest you said perfectly right. He missed his chances, but also it seemed exactly as you said, that every final touch, whether it was the shot on target, or the final pass to send everyone through, was basically the wrong choice or misplaced in the end. So it was a tough game, for him. But even though I agree with both your picks, I have one more pick for the hero of the game. And it's tough to give him man of the match. Of course, he played only about 62 minutes. But I think it's fair to talk about Fofana. And I don't include him in the highly overrated player of the game, because I don't think he even
I
was
just
this
love it. I
overrated.
love this agenda.
I don't even think he was an overrated performance, as a lot of people talk about it. But you can't tell me that you've seen Richie start and provide even one performance that was maybe this good. And this is, as I always say, not hate on Richie. I think he's good, and especially off the bench, he's been good in this season. I think this is where we should see him. But just Yusuf Fofana, just quality up front, 4 recoveries. He brought the physicality, proper pressing, which we don't see, which is just what drives me crazy about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. The whole, like, running up to someone and then staying like 2 meters away and kind of shadowing them instead of actually trying to win the ball sometimes. Um, Two incredible. He might be the most unlucky, definitely player of this season, and maybe in the last few years. That performance, two illuminating passes, one to Leao, one to Pulisic, walks away with 0 assists. Almost scores a
That's true.
curler off his left foot to end the first half. So you know me, I'm always gonna give my flowers to Fofana whenever I can. But Yusuf Fofana got
Are
also my
you?
hero of the award.
Does he? Are you? Does he pay you for this?
Honestly, he should. If we get blocked by Ruben Loftus
Allegedly.
Cheek for this, then I should on the other side of the scale is Fofana should be paying me for this great PR that I provide, this service that I provide.
You need to.
Um,
Then we need to include a hashtag ad if you are, because I don't want to get banned.
hey, the oldest man is coming to me. Until I see you including him in some heroes of the game, you're not seeing a nickel.
Okay. Okay. I see. Yeah.
But that was the verdict of the game for us. Now it's time to go to the pessimist corner for you. Which trend, which cause of concern should Milan fans
Yeah.
around the world be watching out for?
It's been going on for a bit, and I think we saw it in the summer transfer window, and now there are reports. I can't remember exactly who. I should give them my flowers. That is bad. It's not from AC Milan zone itself, I should say. That Furlani kind of went behind Allegri's and Tare's back when it came to the Mateta deal, even during summer. So maybe that's where it started, but then we let go of that. And then during winter, what was it? Like 2 days left of the transfer window, all of a sudden it was like, Mateta, here we go. And he failed on the medical, justifiably so. But now there are reports that Allegri and Tare weren't aware of this transfer taking place. We'd already gotten Füllkrug, which was probably a Allegri request, Füllkrug specifically, but just a big number nine. We know he likes it. We need maybe perhaps wasn't as happy as could be with Füllkrug, but there were reports that that Fulani went behind their backs. Now Allegri came out. What was it on Monday even? In a press conference, saying everything's harmonious or there's harmony, that there isn't a disconnect. He's happy. The rumors about him not extending and whatever. Allegri's being the loyal man that he is. He doesn't really like to he's not like your Conte type. He's not your Gasperini where you're just going to go and hang out management. He's a loyal man, and he just doesn't blow things up in a press conference. So that is typical Allegri. But it does doing this. I'm not sure. He had to tell Ibra off last year when it came to when Zlatan said, "Oh yeah, I decide when the transfer window shuts." I'm sure they had a quiet word in a meeting somewhere, and Zlatan has dialed back massively with statements and being in the hot seat. He's obviously been a Cortina ambassador the last few months, so he's busy with that. But why would Fulani, is he trying to show up against these old football dogs like Tar and Allegri? Why is he doing this all by himself? It doesn't seem right, and that's, I guess, pessimistic in the sense that we saw what happened with Maldini 3 years ago now, 4 years ago almost, and Giorgio Forlani. Let's cut down on the trying to be the man.
Yeah, spot on. And I thought it was very interesting. We heard from Allegri, as you said, and from Tare. But as often happens in Italy, you start seeing some rumors, and that's often people leaking things to different journalists to start the sort of rumor mill, but also to maybe have a little reaction, see what test the waters. That's a notorious thing that happens everywhere, but especially in Italy. We start seeing the reports that you read, and then I thought was very interesting that both Tare and Allegri said in different interviews when asked in general about the trajectory of Milan in the future, they both mentioned the importance of all working together for the same cause, which on the surface level is very obvious. So everyone at Milan should be working to succeed and win Scudettos. But to me, it's a very clear message of that means someone isn't working with someone else.
Yeah.
And we saw it, as you said, in the reports that Mateta was sort of sprang up. It looks like this Brazilian kid, Andre, that we're buying from Corinthians, even though it's the usual Milan fashion, which also tells me there's something wrong in management of report comes out, Fabrizio comes out, here we go, we've bought this guy. And then all of a sudden, Tare and Allegri maybe says, oh, we don't know who this is. And then all of a sudden they talk to the president of Corinthians and he says, actually, no, we just discussed. And I'm sure now it's going to somehow be turned into a saga. And then it looks like it's like, hold on, he played 8 games in the top level in Brazil. Why is he worth 12 million? But actually he's a wonder kid. No one has seen him play and we're all talking about it as always.
Mhm.
And I
You know
think
what
this,
happened with that? Was he Colombian fullback that we signed, and then all of a sudden we've just not heard anything else?
we should check on him. He went somewhere else in the end. I forgot even
We should
where.
check on him. Yeah,
Uh,
was it Udinese that swooped in? I can't
maybe
remember.
actually, maybe I wonder if he's probably in Serie A. Yeah, and it was something
Yeah.
also with
Anyways,
the because not European, and then we were gonna send him on loan to somewhere else, but we couldn't. Maybe ended up being in France. I forget. Maybe because we were gonna get him, and then we couldn't sign him, so send him either to France or Udinese, and ended up going to another team. Yeah. Again, this is a story that ends up repeating itself, as we're
yeah,
saying. I think you're 100% correct. This is the most worrying part about all of this. It seems like Furlani is, I don't know, maybe too arrogant, or I don't know why he's doing this transfer. It's either arrogance or he's like with Joao Felix and all stuff like that. He's just like getting the bag from the side from the various agents, and we know that the agents are it's just a giant mafia in the world of football. Because otherwise it just doesn't make sense. And now there's even rumors of maybe Allegri walking away, but Tare maybe also walking away, or one of the two, which would be terrible for us. This is
yeah,
definitely the biggest
and it's
cause of concern for Milan.
and 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 you're very right in that both Tare and Allegri said, we should be we should be working together to try for the same goal. And the goal, I'm sure, for Tare and Allegri is winning the Scudetto. They're ex-footballers.
Yeah,
Allegri obviously perhaps not as successful as Tare. Tare had perhaps a bit more of a luminous career, if you want to debate that. But they're both pro at the highest level, Serie A, of course. Allegri's been in the job for ages. Tare's been in a place like Lazio, which has had some ambition, but not really. And now he's gone to a Milan, where you'd think Scudetto and the Champions League long runs are the goals, at least for next season.
absolutely.
But
Yeah,
Fulani's goals are the spreadsheets, and it's about making money. We can see that all around Europe and these big teams that are now being taken over. Not only, and it's not just American owners, it's just footballing models, whether that's multi-club ownership with Chelsea and Strasbourg, or if it's American and North American investors in Italy. It's the goal might be different, and Fulani might say, yes, Scudetto is great. We'll get perhaps better sponsorships. We can attract better players and have a better churn of players. But end of the day, he's like, well, if we're not going to win the Scudetto like this, then if it doesn't, we are not going to make money out of it. Then why are we doing it? Probably.
yeah, agreed. And it's massive cause of concerns, and also it's a concern for the future, but it's a concern that's also based in the past. It's now twice in a row that we are approaching the league, a league that's ending without us, it being in the fight for something in the last few months. Which the only good part about that is that you can plan the future. When Pioli left, we know that Pioli was leaving in the summer, but we know that we knew that for months. Somehow
Yep.
we're not organized. We had the whole trouble with Maldini, and we ended up not having a manager until way too late. Ended up getting Fonseca. That didn't work out. Fonseca doesn't work out. Conceição comes in. We knew Conceição wasn't going to be the manager of AC Milan for, again, also
Yeah.
March. And all that time, still did not manage to get Allegri until, June and into the summer. This is the time where, we get our points, try to finish second comfortably. But in the meantime, we get together, all together, as Allegri and Tara are saying, and saying, okay, this summer window is huge, huge. You keep Allegri, you keep Tare, and then you decide how you want to play. Do you want to play 3 at the back? You're going to need to buy, if you are playing in Europe, you're going to need to buy up to 3 center backs. Maybe not 3, okay,
Of,
maybe 3, but 2 for
but
sure.
probably even two that are better quality than we already have,
Yes,
which
2
is
starter level center backs. if you play further back. Are you gonna play further back? Okay, very good. For decide, because then all of a sudden we probably need to sell one and buy one or two and buy fullbacks, hella fullbacks,
Yeah.
sell Estupinian and all that. Who's gonna be the striker? If it's Allegri, you're gonna need a different name than if it's someone else. It's a huge, and we've messed this up before. I mean, this season looks good because Rabiot, one game into the season, punched a teammate in the face, and Allegri bagged and he got it. Tare got a free deal on a Ballon d'Or who wanted to have playing time and come live in Milan and prep for the World Cup. You know, the stars aligned pretty nicely on both of those, and those are the only two successful ones. Stupinian is a waste of money. He's going to leave. Nkunku was not discussed, but again, not discussed by Allegri and Tare. Looks like it's going to be a waste of money and leave. We'll see probably the same about Santi Jimenez. It's a touchy one, and it's causing concern. Go ahead, because I know you have something to say, and then I want to ask a question.
No. That was it. Yeah, no. I was thinking about the Nkunku's balloons actually.
Oh, it's always on your mind. You're big on that. I like it.
It's a hygiene. It's a hygiene again.
I also realized I didn't wear my Milan shirt. It's right there.
You're all over the place today.
Today I'm scattered.
Fantasy,
It's the
Premier
boys.
League.
It's the boys. It's the boys. You know, we should have won this game comfortably, and then I would have been here all prepared. And instead, I'm like, like Milan, just until 89th minute, trying to bring it home. But before we wrap up the pessimistic corner,
we can wrap it up.
No, I have a question. It kind of follows into this about Allegri. Where are you on him? I think it's online the people are a little bit too split. They're like, either he's our savior and he came in and he's brought us back and he's ride or die, or people are like, oh, he plays terrible football. It's bad now. It's gonna continue to be bad. Get him out and invest into something better.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's our savior. I'm not saying I'm Allegri out. I think he's doing a very good job with what he's got available. He's playing a type of football that we know what he stands for.
Mm-hmm.
We've been quite unlucky with injuries up top, and that injury on Leao and injury on Pulisic is so massively damaging purely because Leao isn't a number 9, and we're trying to convert him to a number 9. Gets an injury, it's not looking good, bruv. Pulisic half injured, it's not looking good. He's not got really the backing of Fulani with the signings, but he's still managing to keep us in second place with the objective of Champions League football. Yes, Gasperini under Roma, brand new manager, he's doing well, but he's obviously not above us. We're looking at Spalletti's come in, and it's not looking good. I'm sorry to say, De Balexa, it's one win in 6 last whatever. You see, even a Spalletti can come in and do work wonders. Como are at their heels, kind of, but not really. We're lucky that Atalanta perhaps aren't having a great season. But overall, I think Allegri is the way forward, at least for now. What else? What we're going to go try to do a Juve where, we get the Thiago Motta, what that half of Italy wanted, and just be like, where is he now? He's jobless.
Yeah.
So am I. But I'm not Thiago Motta. If anybody wants to employ me, I'm out there.
Reach out to send us a DM.
It's all about nuances. I mean, to football Twitter, which isn't a real place, we like to remind people, it's just lacks so much nuance, and that's it. Like let's just be realistic without being too pessimistic or too optimistic. It's going good. We're second, and then we can say, oh yeah, Milan should be aiming higher. But have you seen our management with Furlani and Jerry Cardinale, how tight they are with money? We don't have a base of Bastoni, Barella, Lautaro Martinez to be or Di Marco to be using. We tried that, and we sold Theo Hernandez, we sold Rangers, we sold Tonali. I mean, imagine Inter all of a sudden sell Bastoni, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Barella, and Lautaro Martinez. Yeah, we've been lucky to keep Mignon, Leao, and Pulisic for now. But let's see where they would be if they sold that and not reinvest the money properly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of those came also only because we sold players, like Magnan was the last minute Donnarumma fix and so on and so forth. Yeah. As always,
he's doing fine. I'm happy with him. I'm not saying he's the savior.
Yeah, as always, you're spot on. I think the criticism can come to me next year when we all come together Furlani and Tare and Allegri. We do a mercato that Allegri likes. He can play, I don't know, this formation or for the back, depending on what we buy. We buy him a big striker. And then we
Yeah.
keep playing the way sometimes we play. Which, by the way, if I had to bid, assuming that the mercato and the summer stuff goes as I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be putting money on Allegri still playing not great football. I would hope not, but do I think this
Yeah.
old man, I don't know how it is, but older man who's been a Serie A manager forever, who had a chance to go to Real Madrid and didn't because he doesn't even like learning other languages,
Yeah.
do I think he's gonna go out of
Yeah.
his zone of comfort and start playing tiki-taka football? No.
Probably not.
And I think that's
But
gonna be
it's
a problem.
also, I think it's also to do with like he's playing with what he's got, you know?
Yeah,
Uh does he trust? I mean, Bartisagi's doing great, but he's that's also kind of lucky that he's been performing.
yeah,
Does he trust Nkunku? Does he trust Fulkrug to execute beautiful football either? No, not really. That's the thing. He's working with and with a back three, which is at best, meh at best. Can he
yeah.
trust this Milan squad to play any other type of football? He's kind of using, it's the analogy of having that castle and defending a 1-0. But at the end of the day, what tools does he have to work with to play a better type of football as well?
Yeah,
And you're
agreed.
right, with judge him next season.
Yeah. That being said, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that because again, if I had to put money, I would say that he's gonna continue to play the only way he
Yeah.
knows. But this
Mm.
season, this is it, and we'll have a question in the mailbag as well, so I won't get into the formation stuff. Um, but yeah, what he's done is take a group that was decimated, that came eighth and lost its best players, a group with a lot of personalities that are emotional and sometimes can be on the weaker end, and does what he does best. I think Allegri's best characteristic as a manager is bringing everyone together and handling the individuals and handling the group. So we'll see. The point that we agree on is yes, this season has been great. Let's see what happens next season. I heard an interesting thought and it kind of resonated with me. You know, De Rossi at Roma does good. He gets fired because there's some absolutely terrible ownership that also ends up being fired afterward and goes to Nottingham Forest, and you see how they're doing now. They bring in Juric, who does terrible football, destroys a lot of things. They bring in Ranieri as sort of the savior, and I think Ranieri was very much what Allegri does, kind of compacts the group, hankers down, solid defense, goes through, and he ends the season great. Point wise, he was on the record for the Scudetto, and everyone was like, Ranieri, you're the best, you're a Romanista, we love you, you're the Pope, stay. And he says, no, this is not football that is going to lead us to. First of all, I'm old. I don't have them done. Second of all, this is not, I've created a solid basis so that we're a good team again, or a solid team, but this is not the way, we're not going to win football championships and Scudettos and make Champions League runs like this. We now need to take the next step and take someone with a vision. And Roma fans didn't want Gasperini because, coach Atalanta, they had some beef, which is all silly. And now Roma are, struggling. We'll see if they make Champions League. But in terms of trajectory, if you think about, having Juric not so long ago, this is an interesting product. It has some good talent. We'll see.
Yeah.
Money's going to be an issue. But if I'm
Yeah.
looking at Roma from now on, I think it's going to continue to get better. Gasperini is Gasperini. Like, I don't like him either, but it's a very good manager that can play very good football.
You're not
So
going to have overnight success either. And it's about nuancing.
true.
It's about understanding that neither Milan nor Roma can go out and spend hundreds of millions to start over a whole starting 11. We don't
Yeah,
have Arsenal's budget to sign 7 new defenders for over almost 300 million pounds or whatever it is with Calafiori, Timber, and the rest. We just don't have that, and you have to take it step by step, building blocks. And I don't know if people are saying Allegri out, who are you gonna? Who I want to hear who are you gonna grab?
that's true. Yeah, you need to have a summer
And
like
when they
Roma
get
did, where you're in advance, you convince, you have a plan, you go after your man. Gasperini had an interview famously with Juve, and Comolli did not impress him, and he ended up going to Roma, and then it makes sense now. So to
yeah,
me, it would only make sense like if there's a plan. This is hypothetical, that's obviously not going to happen. But you start talking, you see, oh, Jurgen Klopp is interested. All of a sudden, now we can talk. But if you just get rid of Allegri for the sake of getting rid of Allegri, then I agree, you're shooting yourself in the
Yeah,
foot for
and
sure.
I don't think Jurgen Klopp would be able. I mean, I'm not saying he was he spent heavily, but he got his like his transfer budgets
Yeah, of course.
and
And
got
it
to
also
decide
took
pretty
time.
much who.
And it also took time for
Yeah,
him, of
yeah.
course.
I think, and I'm sure that was part of the plan. I think was his name the Henry family, the Fenway Group or whatever, right?
Hmm.
I'm sure he said, look, we can't spend heavily. Pardon me. We have to spend sustainably and at the level of where we are.
Yeah, take a sip of water. Yeah, but I mean, it took time. Yeah.
I'm getting assassinated live on air here.
But to me, it was just the interesting thought because again, it's about nuances, and I'm in the middle. I think Allegri's done a great job, a terrific job. Oops,
Yeah,
this season, and he should continue to. And I hope that him and Tade get more of a say, and that we stop acting like we're two different clubs within our own management.
yeah,
That being said, is that yeah, I'm a little bit worried about next season because yeah,
yeah.
I don't see us
We've been
playing
going on.
fluid. Yes, we're gonna move on because it's still almost dinner time. The boys are getting hungry. A very quick, highly underrated player segment. Connie De Winter, yet again our best center back on the pitch last night. I keep saying last night, and by last night I mean
Oh,
Sunday
I
lunchtime.
think so.
I thought it was
Defensively,
great.
best centre back. Yeah,
Yes, defensively for sure. Of course, he doesn't score a goal, although he kind of does because he gets his head cleanly on the ball that then ends up kind of bumping on Strahinja's shoulder. But defensively for sure, 17 death cons yesterday. He's now been thrown at right center back, at left center back, at middle center back. He's been thrown on
all the
seconds,
centre backs.
seconds before a game started when Gabia got injured, and he's honestly been from unplayable, you can't even sub Tomori, to maybe he's better than Tomori, maybe we should start ahead of Tomori, to maybe the best in terms of the pure defending defenders that we have.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I just wanted to give him his flowers. And I think next year, four at the back, three at the back, yeah,
yeah,
he will remain key part. And I see us maybe selling Tomori and then looking for two
yeah.
starting center
And I
backs.
guess he was kind of the replacement for Chow. I want to ask you: do you think his ceiling is higher than Chow? Are you happy with the price tag of selling Chow, with how he's performed? Not necessarily Newcastle, but how De Winter's now stepping up. Because I think roll back 2 months ago, I wasn't particularly happy with De Winter, but then I justified Chow leaving with the 40 million euro price tag. Now I'm even saying it's an upgrade. Plus, we got 40 million for somebody that I thought was okay.
Yeah, I always like Chow. And Newcastle are a bit of a rough team right now, so he's made some terrible games, but also has some great games. I think they're honestly on a very similar level. I just looked up the age because I forgot. It looks like the Winter is 1 year younger. So
Hmm.
when you factor in the money, to me, it's a no brainer. You that kind of money comes in, and you can
Yep.
basically swap the two players but make 20 mil. It makes total sense. I'm not sure if it's an upgrade. I don't know. It's so tough to say with defenders. Sometimes they
It's
also
yeah.
get thrown under the bus because it's you're not playing 1-on-1 the whole game. There's a system to it, and we know we've had some of these defenders. Tomori has been in one of the best Milan season defensively ever. Strahinja Pavlovic looks great now. Last season they both looked terrible. So it's how the team flows. But the deal was definitely worth taking for us, and I'm glad we did. So, Connie De Winter, you're the highly underrated player. I'm sure you're very happy. Celebrate, pop the
Yeah.
champagne. Stefano is here for you. You and Fofana always. As we speed up, we have a couple questions. We'll get to one specifically though, that has to do with someone we're talking about. Let me get his name if I remember it. Utku on Instagram asked, what do you think of Allegri's previous statement about not changing information? So sort of sticking with this 3-5-2. Now we've seen that it's very fluid, of course, positionless football and all that. I'll start off, so I give you some time to think about it. I think people are begging Allegri to go 4-3-3, and they're like, he just doesn't want to because he's a relic of football, and maybe he won't. Maybe he will never change information, even when we have the players. At the moment, we don't have the players for it. We will play. You will see us play 4-3-3 only like we did in Cremonese when we're against a smaller team and we're chasing. Otherwise, it will not happen. Um, pretty much all of our center backs have proven to be not great in a four at the back, and much better. Specifically, Pavlovic and Tomori can cover up a lot of their mistakes, which they make a lot of when they play through at the back. And we have no real fullbacks for it. Bartezaghi is maybe the one that's best at doing that. But we've seen him even at his height lose a lot of headers this season in the box. That's not. It's great when you're playing five at the back and he's not involved in a lot of those. It's not when you're four at the back. Salemakers is undersized. He's lost a lot of headers. He's not really just a fullback anyway. Atekame also defensively not good. We just don't have the
Facilities.
the facilities for that big man. Do I again do I, would I bet money that if we had the facilities, Allegri would still not change? Probably he still wouldn't. He is who he is. I struggle to think that he would change. But this season to me, it's not really an argument. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think you're bang on the money. We don't have the player types for this for a 4-3-3 necessarily. I think if, let's say, Pulisic and Leao were 100% fit, and we had a proper number nine that isn't a broken toe Füllkrug that Allegri doesn't seem to trust to start, then I think we can start debating on Allegri should change formation, because then you want to be playing Leao and Pulisic where they are best and having a proper number nine. That's going to help our attacking going forward. We have the midfield three that he trusts with Fofana, Modric, and Rabiot. But then you see we don't have a proper right back that
Yeah,
can do the defensive duties of a right back.
yeah,
And Bartesaki, I think, plays better at a left wing back position.
agreed.
And I would be silly to move just, he can play left back, I'm sure, just a normal type left back. But then you risk with the center backs. He doesn't trust two of them at the same time. I think if we just had the facilities, then he might have considered it had we been struggling going forward.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's circumstantial more than
yeah,
him being an old relic, which he
yeah,
probably is. And you're
yeah,
right with questioning whether he would play a 4-3-3 or any other formation than the classic 5-3-2, if you want to call it 3-5-2. That would be, I wouldn't put it past him to stick to that. But if we don't have the facilities, we don't have the player types, it would be strange to try it mid-season now 4-3-3.
yeah. And I also think it would kind of kill how the usefulness of Salamanca, which he has been a key player for us. If you just put him at unless you're moving him up to winger, but then you're putting benching Pulisic, doesn't make sense. Just a right back, it's not the main toolkit of Salamanca is it allows you to kind of do both. When you have the ball, he's up there. You're basically playing 4-3-3. When you don't have the ball, he can be in the back and play five at the back. And that's one of the main strengths of our teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, this season it just doesn't
Like
make sense.
he's sort of like he's an attachment to the attack when he's playing right wing back like he does now, and he's also
Mm-hmm.
like an attachment to the defense. It's not like the core part of either the attack or the defense, but
Yeah,
it does both things pretty well enough, if you know what I mean. If
yeah,
he's just gonna be there for the defensive, nah, I'm alright.
yeah,
Or if
yeah.
he's just gonna be a right winger in Pulisic's position, maybe, nah, I don't trust him there either necessarily in terms of what he can add. He can be an attachment to things.
Yeah, yeah, which is when he worked best. It's either now with as a wing back, or when we play with Pioli with the 4-2-3-1, where you can play him as one of those three because you have a lot of weight forward. He can go forward, but also he's gonna cover for a lot of those Leao and whatever the cam, like Brahim Diaz, a lot of those players that are going forward and not coming back,
My
and
boy.
Giroud and all
My
that.
boy. I
What have they
miss
done
him
to him?
daily. Just he seemed like such a nice guy.
Quick switch. Obviously, we need to predict the derby and talk about that briefly. Do you want to do a little quiz before that, or are we running too long?
I think we've got an international break coming up soonish in a month's time almost. I think we could do like a longer segment and break down some things and have a longer mailbag and ask people for questions and do a quiz on that. The
Okay.
derby we've been going on a while, and the derby we've got
Yeah.
I guess a fair bit to talk about, and We can
Yes.
record a bunch of predictions and say that we're right.
As
We would never
always.
do that. This is not misinformation or fake news.
Yeah, we
Everyone
actually
at AC Milan's on
record
podcast.
7 different podcasts every week, and at the end we just change the prediction, and
Neither
somehow
of
we
us
still manage
have
to be wrong.
daily. Yeah. Um,
Um, but yeah, let's get into the Inter one. I mean, usually I like to give a little wrap of the next team because maybe some Milan fans are now watching your Cremonese and want to know what their results are. Harder to do against Inter, so I won't keep that too long. Their last loss in Serie A, of course, was on the 23rd of November 2025 against us. The last time they lost was the derby. They are absolutely, they've dominated the league. They walked Genoa to an early defeat, and it's been the story of the season. They've absolutely wrecked any team that's not in the top 4 or 6, and you can see it physically, mentally. They don't look like a team that's too tired because, unlike us, which would be a great thing for us next year, they can save some of the energy in mid game because they often put it away early. Lautaro will be out. Dumfries and Çalhanoğlu looks like they're going to be back. We'll see how much Dumfries can play because he's been out for a long, long time. Çalhanoğlu already got some time against Genoa and you expect him to start. They play tonight in just a few hours against Como in the Coppa Italia, so definitely tune in and see what's happening. There's some doubt about Bonni, so will be interesting to see who starts. Thuram has been awful, but you would bet that is going to be the one next to Pio, who is definitely going to start. What do you make of this game? Obviously huge for them. They will be angry in terms of their awful for Champions League performance. They have a big lead. They want to put this Serie A away, and if they win, they might as well give them the trophy right there and then. What do you make of it?
It's a Milan derby. It's la derba della Madonnina. Form goes out the window, I think, for these. Although this might be the hardest one to predict for quite a while, wouldn't you say so? Even if, because I feel like Inter have been the dominant team at least before, like going into every derby. So we've been the underdogs, right? I still think we're slightly the underdogs in this derby specifically, again, to a certain extent, because we've
I
got
think we're
Leao
massive
Pulisic.
underdogs. My
Oh,
shock
okay.
face was not a
I
disagreement.
think
I just
I think it's because of the injuries that they have. It's because they've been a bit up and down. Both, I mean, not in the league necessarily, but with their Champions League performances, they've been playing big teams. But Buda Glimt was a massive blow, I think, to their morale, and we know that they've been struggling in big games or games that they that are big on paper at least. I think we're slightly the underdogs purely because we don't have Pulisic and Leao firing on all fronts. Um, they've got key injuries. However, should I go out for a prediction straight away, like the scoreline prediction?
go for it. Upside down world.
I'm gonna go bold. I'm not gonna go bold. That I'm already doing. I'm going bold. It's gonna
What is it?
be a 1-0 Milan victory again. It's gonna be Cortomuso. It's gonna be Inter dominating for a while, but they shit their trousers and they make a slight mistake, whether it's a Kanji, whether it's Bastoni, whether it's whoever. It's Di Marco not tracking back, which he doesn't usually do. I won't eat my words, but it's gonna be a 1-0 victory for me.
You definitely get the feeling that if we are gonna get 3 points out of this, it's gonna be one of those a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that. I think we're massive underdogs for a few reasons. The injuries, we'll see how Dumfries and Çalhanoğlu are, but it's really Lautaro out. Lautaro anyway doesn't show up to these games. But he's got a good track record against Milan. No, he has a good track record a long time ago against Milan it's the story of Lautaro Martinez's career. When they dominated us, like when they dominate Salernitana and Cremonese, he scores. When it's a close one, he's not there to be seen. When it's a close one, he will miss the penalty against Tataruzano, and so on and so forth. So I honestly don't think that's a massive loss. it's only a massive loss because Thuram has been so terrible this season. But I think peak form Thuram is better than peak form Lautaro Martinez. I don't care what they say. I agree that the Champions League loss is huge for them, but it looked like the way they approached both games, they were kind of like, yeah, if we lose, there's the famous Akanji interview where he says, yeah, we prefer winning the league other than the Champions League. In a very Italian way, they sort of, I mean, the first game, Di Marco doesn't play until, doesn't start. Zelinski, who's been the best midfielder, doesn't start. They kind of, not that they wanted to go out, of course not, but they approached it as sort of, a team that's still butthurt from trying to winning a lot last season and getting close. And by the way, I think this is a mistake. I understand that losing the Champions League final 5-0 is traumatizing, and it's still hilarious to me, of course. But I'd much rather lose the league by 1 point than lose the Champions League final 5-0. But come the last days of May or be in those fight for those, then what, win a Scudetto 13 points way before, but losing against Bodo Glimt to make history for that reason? No, you play same. Italy is terrible with this. Same with people that were like, oh, so what, Atalanta pulled an incredible comeback, they're gonna lose against Bayern. Yeah, why are you in the Champions League then? Just to get money, then do Napoli and tank? This is what makes the difference between small clubs and big clubs. This is the difference between Milan and Inter Milan. We're out there to win. I don't care. I don't mean how many competitions you are. You're gonna be stuck in your rut of not winning against any big team other than Juve because, and all the players know you lost against. You played a much better game even when they're down 10 men, all because you dove. All the other big matches you've shed the bat in. It's this mentality, the mentality Barella has right after they get kicked out. He has this is what happens. Is the new format where you have a penalty against Liverpool that shouldn't have been a penalty. You're going back to that? You lost to all the good teams. Yep. You play Kairat and Lautaro is celebrating against the camera, and then Liverpool comes and kicks your ass, and then Arsenal comes and kicks your ass, and then Borussia Dortmund comes and kicks your ass.
It's like we're doing enough, but we don't set the bar high enough. We don't keep ourselves accountable. It's something else's fault or someone else's fault. It's not our
Akanji
fault.
comes, and he was supposed to come to them and not to us because he wanted to play Champions League football, and he's coming from Pep. And all of a sudden, it's clear that he's fallen in line because clearly this was what they talk about inside. They're like, no, we focus on the Scudetto this time. We just try to win the Scudetto. And then they're like, oh, we can win big matches. Yeah, you guys are terrified to even try. No wonder. So, but that being said, I think that all this to say, I think that sort of Champions League loss was sort of already wasn't as much of a heartbreaker, even though it's a much worse loss than Juve had against Galatasaray. So that was already to me sort of internalized within their team, which is going to be a problem for them in the long term. But anyway, in Serie A, they've dominated it. I think they're gonna, after the last derby as well, that's going to be very fresh in their mind. Not that you need any more motivation in a Milan derby, but the way they've lost it is going to be very clear.
I'm trying to remember. It was 1-0. Oh, it was the Pulisic. It was Hakan Çalhanoğlu losing the ball in midfield. Doesn't track the right runner.
Yeah, he misses a penalty.
Jan Sommer.
Salemakas is incredible. Magnan incredible saves, and as you're saying, Sommer on the goal definitely could have done better. So to me, they're gonna be gunning for it. And honestly, I would in a crazy sentence, but I honestly believe this: if Bartesaghi doesn't make it because he's hurt, he is a bigger loss to us than Lautaro Martinez not playing for them is for them.
Absolutely.
Stupinian has been dreadful, especially if Dumfries gets any sort of playing time. They're going to feast on that side, and that's terrible for us. We might not have Gabbia, which means we're running with 3 center backs right here and hope to God no one gets injured.
But you have this man. You have the Croatian little Croatian magician.
Yeah. So for all these reasons, I think we're a huge underdog. But that being said, we can play. It's a derby. Everything goes out the window. Would be lovely to win. I like Leo's words after the game to sort of spur up the spirit.
I was ready to run through a wall. Preferably not a brick wall, but a wall. Maybe paper mache.
Paper mache wall. I'll run right there. After you run through the wall, I'll run after with you.
What's that supposed to mean, huh?
that it's already broken. You forge your own path. I'm a mere follower. You know this. Predictions. Honestly, I think Inter probably gunning for blood for sure. Also because this is it. It's kind of like when Bayern exited the Champions League. You know, they're just like, okay, now we just gotta, I guess, flex in the league, and pretend like this is a good year. I'm gonna say like 1-1, and then later on, I mean, a draw is like kind of like a victory for Inter anyway. Like you come out with 10 points, it's the same. Like you're still gonna win the league. I mean, they're gonna win the league even if we probably win this derby, but then you start maybe seeing some fear. But 1-1 just because I cannot predict Inter to win. We will have Uncle Sharma, the most bearable Inter fan we know, on the podcast, to break this down.
I thought we were pretty fair in our breakdown with him, going back, and Uncle Sharma was very. I mean, we have him on. We watch his videos. We know he's a nuanced Inter fan. For once, that
it's honestly upsetting.
That sentence together. Yeah.
It's honestly upsetting because with anyone friend of the show, I try to interact on anything they post. You know, just to give them a comment, but also listen to their stuff. And so many times I want to go on, especially Twitter, and maybe leave a comment. You know, I know he's cool with it, and he will do the same with us, and leave maybe a comment to be like, "Oh, you're wrong about this." But then after time, I listen to his stuff, and obviously we support different teams. He might think, you know, DiMarco is the best in the world. I might think he's just very good. All this stuff, and I try to look at stuff to pick at, and I'm like, "No, that's fair. No, yeah, that's fair." And it's like, come on,
Yeah,
give me
fair.
something. Give me something so I can rage bait you into, but without, you know, fully lying. So
like a little Pomeranian that's just barking, then all of a sudden you're like, actually, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
But maybe there'll be some interesting calls from the referee as well. We'll see if that takes off. Anyway, anything else? We discussed all the Cremonese. We discussed the derby.
Just quickly, not that I want to spend too much time. I just saw some quotes on Twitter. Was it the Athletic, or I can't remember who he was giving an interview to. Alexis Jimenez at Bournemouth. What is he chatting about? He was talking about that he asked for the number 2 shirt from Calabria. Now number 2 in Milan isn't like, it's not like a number 10, even like a number 7. Obviously 3 and 6 are retired. But he was talking about, you know, he wanted the number 2, like the number 2 shirt. I think quite literally the number, I think is what he's talking about. And he doesn't get it. Like, or is it like, well, what do you mean? Why would they say no to you if it's available? I think he's capping there. And then he justifies coming late to training and to meetings. Right? Did I misinterpret the quote? No, I don't think so.
Not at all.
That's the number 2 shirt. I cared about it because of the tradition of great fullbacks. I mean, Cafu's worn it, but he didn't play. Like, that's just how it is. A fullback wears number 2 usually. After that, we've had De Sciglio, and I think we've had Calabria from memory. They said no, and like he had number 20, and it's still this whole number bullshit. Like Selemaker's wears 56, couldn't give a fuck. His haircut speaks volumes with the number 56 shirt. Love you, Selemakers. And they told me I wasn't ready, that I was too immature. What's number 2 got to do with anything? I mean, you just don't go after number 3 and 6. I don't think you quite literally can't have those numbers after Maldini and Baresi. But if you want number 69, go for it. I don't know. Like, does he mean the starting fullback position? Then sure, that's what he means, and fine. They told me I wasn't ready, that I was too immature. They were wrong. From that moment, it's true. I lost some focus and arrived late a few times.
Yeah,
lost focus on what, your alarm clock? On Milan traffic? On your chauffeur? On who? Like, what are you losing focus on? You're gonna come late. Like, you have one job, and that's coming on time. And I'm sure it's generous time. It's not that they're asking you to be a Milanello for 5 a.m. for a 8:45 kickoff.
Yeah,
I just find it bananas. I hate this kind of shit. It's like just chatting shit. And I should say we made you. We gave you your. And he says that he's grateful that they gave him like first team football minutes for the first team that took him seriously. You weren't that good, pal. And we got a 25 million bid from Bournemouth, and you're loaned out, and you have a little slit in your eyes, in your eyebrow, and you think you're on top of the world.
What's crazy is that he ended the interview like leaving the door open. They're like, oh, you know, I always love Milan, and we'll say never say never. Well, maybe our.
Fuck off.
What's crazy to me, and what really pisses me off. No, I'm glad you did. What really pisses me off almost equally is that you see online and people are like, oh, Jimenez killing in the Premier League, another Milan regret. This is not, I mean, Milan has a lot of regrets in our history, in our recent history, for sure. This is not it. This is a player who
No.
wanted, who wanted more playing time and he wasn't going to get it. This is a player that Allegri gave a chance to. This is a player who messaged on Instagram saying, oh, we have a shit trainer, gets leaked, which Jimenez himself admitted, who then gets forgiven by Allegri, is late, is then put out the squad early in the season because he's late, continues to be late again, and is sold. See you later. You're an idiot. This is Milan. This is not like it's insane.
And he, all of this justifies why he's too mature. And it's like, yeah, well, just keep your number 20 and get on with playing if you want to play. Like, whatever. Yeah. It's number 2 at Milan. It's not.
Yeah. You had a few games, and even in the games where he was doing good at Milan, you could tell that you're like, oh, this guy's the attitude of an idiot. This is the guy who's gonna has his little moment, and he's gonna get a yellow, like he did, many yellow cards for no reason.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
Okay, it's Real Madrid, but no wonder Real Madrid probably didn't even acknowledge their buyback clause for him.
Yeah, no.
So good riddance, whatever. Have fun in Bournemouth. I'm sure you love your life there. No disrespect to Bournemouth. Shout out up the cherries, but fuck me, that is such a shit. That's just modern football encapsulated into a tweet and an interview. Go home via Kava.
Yes, yeah. Just even the first sentence, I wasn't given the responsibilities I thought I deserved, and then he goes on to list how he was too immature and how he was late and called the manager a shit manager, and it's like, brother, listen to yourself, rewind, and fully agreed.
Yeah, all right. That's it.
With that, we wrap it up. You heard it all here first, just over an hour. I missed our 59-minute window that I like to keep. As always, if you made it this far, comment si è girato Giroud because it's derby time. And as always, Forza Milan. That's it, I'm calling it. Forza Milan.